Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Jordan. I'm a captain with the San Diego Police Department. As part of my role in my assignments, I am responsible for hosting the community meetings tonight regarding surveillance technologies. These meetings were designed to be transparent about the technologies that city departments possess, describing them, and then answering questions in a meaningful way. And I want to welcome everybody who is here today at the Anchor Church, as well as at venues throughout the city of San Diego. We feel this is an important process and we welcome your questions and we thank you for your attendance. Tonight, we'll be presenting a video of the technologies being proposed for consideration at the next Privacy Advisory Board meeting. The video will run, I believe, about 30 minutes. And after the presentation of the videos, we will have an ability to have questions, comments, and feedback. We hope to wrap up promptly at 8 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock, so about 2 hours for this meeting. And then afterwards, in order to reach as many people as possible, we like to post the meeting on YouTube where it can be translated into upwards of 100 languages so people can feel or watch it in the language they're most comfortable viewing it in. With anything, we have rules for the evening, and I don't want to miss any of them, so forgive me as I read some of the rules. If you're at a venue and you wish to ask a question, make a statement, or provide feedback, please fill out a speaker slip and turn it in prior to the end of the video. No speaker slips will be accepted after the video ends. Each speaker will have 1 minute to ask questions, provide feedback, or make a statement. Please be respectful of all viewpoints. Time may not be ceded to other speakers. We want to hear from as many people as possible. If a community member does not wish to ask a question, provide feedback, or comment publicly, a QR code and web address are provided to facilitate their input. We will start taking questions here at our hub location at the Anchor Church. We have subject matter experts in attendance on site. If any questions cannot be answered by our subject matter experts, we will answer them later. And typically in the past, we've developed a FAQ page or a frequently asked question page on our website where people can go. When feedbacks are completed at the hub or 45 minutes has elapsed, we will move on to satellite locations, proceeding in the order of council districts. If time remains, we will return to the hub for any outstanding questions. Please, and this is very important, be respectful of all viewpoints, whether they are for the technology or against the technology. All viewpoints will be heard. Unruly behavior may result in being removed from a meeting location. Feedback from these meetings will be included in our impact reports that are required for the Privacy Advisory Board to consider these technologies. So we do a use report and an impact report, and we'll notify the Privacy Advisory Board of these items, hopefully by their next meeting, I believe, which is tentatively scheduled for November 16th. I want to thank you for everybody who's in attendance at these meetings at this location and elsewhere throughout the city. I want to thank the subject matter experts who have given up their valuable time this evening to answer any questions that may come in. But most importantly, I'd really like to thank the Anchor Church, as well as all the venues that are hosting these meetings. It's really important in our community outreach. And I think it's a hallmark of what the San Diego Police Department is recognized for as far as, another aspect of our community policing. So again, thank you. And we will go with the video at this time.
Hello, my name is Tom Carline. I'm a police sergeant assigned to the San Diego Police Department's Air Support Unit. The Air Support Unit operates 4 Airbus helicopters out of Montgomery Field. Each patrol flight consists of a police pilot and a tactical flight officer. The helicopters have 2 pieces of surveillance equipment, the FLIR 380 HDC sensor and the Avalex DVR. The FLIR sensor is externally mounted on the aircraft and is a color and infrared camera. The sensor can pan, tilt, and zoom. The Avalex DVR is mounted on the dash panel of the aircraft. It has the ability to record and play back imagery that is produced from the FLIR sensor. Both pieces of equipment are operated by the tactical flight officer during flight. We use both the FLIR and the Avalex DVR on every patrol flight as we respond to calls in our city and throughout San Diego County, as we are a regional asset. The air support officers, when assigned to a call, position the FLIR sensor on a location and activate the recorder on incidents that are of possible evidentiary value. The Avalex DVR does not continuously record. These digital recordings are securely impounded at the air support unit base and may be used as evidence for prosecution of a crime.
Hello, I am Sergeant Ellsworth with the San Diego Police Department. Vigilant is a web-based platform that shares automated license plate reader or ALPR data collected from legally obtained sources. The data is collected from ALPRs from California law enforcement agencies and private companies. Each individual agency or company then shares the data with Vigilant. The San Diego Police Department does not own any of the data, nor does it provide any data to Vigilant. Vigilant is accessed through all San Diego Police Department computers with internet access. Vigilant is only used by the San Diego Police Department personnel for investigative purposes as a reactive analytic tool to assist with the identification of vehicles associated with suspects, witnesses, or victims. Additionally, Vigilant data allows for locating stolen and wanted vehicles, vehicles belonging to witnesses and victims of violent crimes, vehicles associated with missing or abducted children, and at-risk individuals. The Vigilant database has proven to be a very effective tool in combating crime.
I am Detective Sergeant Garrick Nugent of the San Diego Police Department and Commander of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. I'm going to discuss 5 pieces of technology used by the ICAC Task Force. The first technology is MSAB's XRY Mobile Forensics and Data Recovery Software. XRY is software used to extract data from mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. The software is used at the San Diego Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force office, which is only accessible to members of the task force. XRY is only used when proper legal authority to search a phone is signed by a judge or if the owner of the phone gives consent. XRY is used to extract data from mobile devices for investigative purposes. Only San Diego ICAC investigators who have completed training and have been authorized can use the software. XRY can only be used by San Diego ICAC investigators with proper legal authority and training. The second technology is MSAB's Raven mobile triage tool. Raven is hardware and software used to extract data from mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. The hardware and software are used in the field by members of the San Diego Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Raven is only used when there is proper legal authority to search the phone signed by a judge or if the owner of the phone gives consent. This mobile triage tool is used to extract data from mobile devices while investigators are in the field for investigative purposes. Only San Diego ICAC investigators who have completed training and been authorized can use the tool. The tool can only be used with proper legal authority and training. The third technology is Wooster Data Solutions. Wooster is an online subscription service that provides investigative data. The private company compiles and analyzes historical and real-time public and private data sources. Being an online service, Wooster is used both in the San Diego Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force office as well as in the field when conducting investigative research into potential suspects, witnesses, or victims. Only San Diego ICAC investigators who have been given authorization and login information can use the service for conducting investigative research. The final technology is the ICAC data system called IDS. IDS is a web-based application that provides secure dynamic infrastructure to facilitate online enforcement investigations of child exploitation. The program promotes data deconfliction and information sharing between the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, ICAC task forces, and ICAC affiliated agencies. IDS also enhances the capability of the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Program, the head of the National Task Force, to collect and aggregate data on the extent of child exploitation. IDS is only used by members of the San Diego Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. This web-based program is how cyber tips are assigned to San Diego ICAC from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, how cases are assigned to investigators for follow-up, and how case information is shared with other ICAC task forces. Only San Diego ICAC investigators who have completed training and have been authorized can use this tool.
Hello, my name is Captain Jeff Ring with the San Diego Fire Rescue Department. I'm currently assigned to our Special Operations Division, and one of my duties is serving as our city's bomb squad commander. By congressional mandate, the FBI is responsible for the training and accreditation of all public safety bomb squads in the United States. In the early 1970s, the FBI established the Hazardous Devices School, or HDS, in Huntsville, Alabama. HDS is responsible for the initial certification of all public safety bomb technicians and requires recertification on a 3-year interval. There are approximately 465 public safety bomb squads in the United States with approximately 3,000 certified technicians. For the city of San Diego, the fire department provides this service citywide with 13 certified technicians. Bomb technician training involves training with a variety of equipment and tactics with the goal of preventing known or suspected improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, from functioning as they were designed to injure people and damage property. It takes approximately 18 months of in-house training to prepare bomb technician candidates to attend the Hazardous Devices School certification course. The certification course is an intense 6-week course at HDS. One of, if not the most valuable tools that technicians are trained to use are robots. Robots give our technicians the ability to visually inspect and perform render-safe procedures from a remote location, ensuring their safety. A render-safe procedure is a process in which an IED is disabled from exploding as it was intended to. Without the ability to use our robots, our technicians would have to approach the IED and complete these procedures by hand, exposing them to tremendous risk of injury or death. The San Diego Fire Rescue Department currently operates 5 robots that are capable of both ground and underwater operations. These robots range from very small observation robots to large robots capable of performing both diagnostic and render-safe procedures. We also have an underwater robot capable of responding to an IED located within our port, bays, or reservoirs. The only robot capable of recording still images or video is our underwater robot. Our ground robots provide our technicians with live video feeds only to complete their tasks. Any recorded images captured by our underwater robot are handled in accordance with our strict data management policy. As I mentioned earlier, the FBI provides the accreditation of all public safety bomb squads. Part of the accreditation process is the verification that all bomb squads have the minimum equipment required to respond to a known or suspected IED. At least one general service bomb squad robot is a required piece of every bomb squad's inventory. The inability to use robots would jeopardize the City of San Diego's accreditation and unnecessarily put our technicians in harm's way. As with any fire department operation, safety is our #1 priority. The San Diego Fire Rescue Department looks forward to continuing to use robots to respond to potential explosive-related incidents within the City of San Diego and provide our citizens the highest level of service. Thank you and stay safe. Hello, my name is Captain Jeff Ring with the San Diego Fire Rescue Department. I'm currently assigned to our Special Operations Division, and one of my duties is serving as our department's Unmanned Aircraft System, or UAS, Program Manager. The use of UAS among public safety agencies in the United States is on the rise, and the National Fire Protection Association estimates that nearly 1,000 agencies are currently using this technology. The San Diego Fire Rescue Department began developing its UAS program back in 2018. The first step in the development of the program was to develop a use policy to specifically designate how UAS would be used and what safeguards would be put in place to protect our citizens' right to privacy. The policy outlines specific and detailed procedures for the handling and security of any pictures or videos that are captured by the UAS. UAS are a valuable tool for Incident Command, or IC, personnel to gain situational awareness on a variety of emergency responses. Having an aerial perspective allows the IC to determine the location and extent of an active fire to assist in the direction of firefighting resources to the most advantageous position. Some of our UAS are also equipped with thermal cameras, which provide real-time temperature information to the IC to determine if the fire has been completely extinguished. An example of the use of a UAS is a recent response to a vegetation fire in the San Diego River bottom. After our helicopters and ground resources attacked the fire, the UAS responded with its thermal camera to assess the ground temperatures within the fire perimeter to determine if the fire was completely extinguished. After completing the flight, it was determined that the fire was in fact completely extinguished and no hot spots remained. This allowed the IC to release all firefighting resources back to their stations and be available for other emergency responses in their community. Prior to the use of this technology, it was standard practice to leave several engine companies at the scene throughout the night to stand by in case of a flare-up, leaving their fire stations vacant. All UAS flights are for a specific purpose. We do not use our UAS in a proactive manner looking for emergencies. The UAS is available to be requested by any incident commander through our dispatch center. The UAS program is currently operated by our bomb squad technicians and is located at Fire Station 1 in downtown San Diego. All pilots are licensed by the FAA and must complete our department's approved training program. Pilots are also required to complete recurring training every 90 days to maintain their proficiency. We currently have 12 pilots that are spread out among each of our 3 shifts. This allows for 24/7 coverage throughout the city. Our program has applied for and received a certificate of authorization from the FAA. This process allowed the FAA to review our entire program and grant us the ability, with air traffic control permission, to operate in sections of airspace where commercial U.S. operators cannot. As with any fire department operation, safety is our #1 priority. The San Diego Fire Rescue Department looks forward to continuing to use UAS technology to enhance our response to emergency incidents within the city of San Diego and provide our citizens with the highest level of service. Thank you and stay safe.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Link, and I lead the San Diego Police Department's Unmanned Aircraft Systems Unit. An unmanned aircraft, also known as a drone, a remotely piloted aircraft, or an unmanned aerial vehicle, is defined by Public Law 112-95 as an aircraft that is operated without the possibility of direct human intervention from within or on the aircraft. The SDPD UAS unit is a support-based unit and only acts reactively to an already existing or planned incident or event. The UAS unit does not conduct any proactive operations. The purpose of the UAS unit is to support first responders during critical incidents by providing real-time video imagery via remotely operated aircraft, to support investigations by providing video and photographic evidence collection of crime scenes from an aerial vantage point, and to provide enhanced security overwatch and anti-terrorism efforts during special events and large gatherings with the intent to identify pre-incident indicators and mitigate terrorist and criminal acts before they happen. The SDPD UAS unit is only authorized to respond and support search and rescue support for lost, missing, missing at risk, stranded persons, or suspects, provide aerial observation and imagery for safety and situational awareness in support of fire response and disaster response, provide photo and video digital media recording in support of crime scene evidence collection, provide aerial and remote camera observation and imagery during incidents involving barricaded suspects, hostage incidents, and high-risk tactical operations, provide aerial imagery and photo video support for department training, provide enhanced safety overwatch during large gatherings and special events, along with other missions deemed necessary by the Chief of Police. The SDPD UAS are used primarily as an observation and evidence collection tool. Often, the UAS are used to overwatch and monitor high-risk law enforcement operations to help identify hazards, de-escalate critical incidents, and provide an added layer of transparency and visual recording of law enforcement actions, similar to the body-worn cameras. During special events and lawful assemblies, the SDPD UAS unit will not activate any video or photographic recording features unless to record a crime that is occurring or in anticipation of a crime. This is done to protect and uphold citizens' First Amendment rights to peaceably assemble in public. All digital media evidence collected by SDPD UAS on a law enforcement operation is controlled, impounded, and documented in accordance with SDPD Department Procedure 3.02. The SDPD UAS unit is primarily used citywide, but may respond to incidents outside the city if requested by outside agencies. In all cases, the UAS unit will only deploy in the reactive support posture previously mentioned. Use of Department unmanned aircraft systems is strictly controlled. Only authorized members of the UAS unit shall use or be in possession of Department UAS equipment. All UAS operators or pilots must undergo specialized training, including obtaining their FAA remote pilot's license, completing a UAS-specific training academy within the SDPD, which includes training such as proper evidence collection procedures, documenting flight operations, and protection of citizens' privacy, civil rights, and upholding the Fourth Amendment during flight operations. SDPD UAS operators are trained to make every effort to only capture visual imagery of the law enforcement contact or intended target of observation in order to protect the privacy of any nearby uninvolved citizens and their property. Additionally, all UAS operations are supervised by a specially trained UAS supervisor who oversees and audits all UAS flights, data collection, and documentation of all operation and training flights. The SDPD UAS unit currently manages 15 different models of unmanned aircraft. The names of the makes and models are Brink Lemur S, Shield AI Nova, Parrot Anafi Thermal, Ace Core Zoe with Wirus S1 payload, Hoverfly Sentry HL, Teledyne FLIR Black Hornet PRS. For DJI manufactured aircraft, the models are Phantom 4, Phantom 4 version 2, Matrice 210 with Zenmuse Z30 and XT2 camera payloads, Matrice 30T, Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced, Mavic 3 Enterprise, Mavic Air, and Avata. All of the equipment listed have several common features. All of the aircraft have the ability to record video and capture digital photographs. However, none of these aircraft will do so automatically. All of the aircraft must be manually controlled by the specially trained operator in order to record any video or digital photographs. All of the listed aircraft observe and record video and photographs in the normal visual spectrum. Some models have the ability to observe and record video and photographs in the infrared spectrum, also known as night vision. These models include the DJI Matrice 210, the DJI Matrice 30T, the Brink Lemur S, and the Shield AI Nova. Some models also have the ability to observe and record video and photographs in the forward-looking infrared spectrum, also known as thermal imagery. These models include the DJI Matrice 210, the Mavic 2 and 3 Enterprise variations, the Parrot Anafi Thermal, the Ace Core Zoe, and the Hoverfly Sentry. One UAS model, the Brink Lemur S, has a few unique capabilities that none of the other UAS have. The Lemur S is primarily used indoors as a de-escalation tool on high-risk tactical operations. The Lemur S is equipped with a microphone, a speaker, and a cellular receiver, giving it a two-way communication capability so that operators can call in and use it to communicate with a barricaded suspect for negotiation and de-escalation purposes. None of the SDPD UAS equipment have any attached weapons, armaments, or any features that are designed to be used in a forceful nature against any persons. Thank you for listening. Hello, I'm Sergeant Link with the San Diego Police Department. The San Diego Police Department uses the Degero downlink transmission system, also known as the Degero DTS. The purpose of the Degero DTS is to support first responders during critical incidents, special events, and large gatherings by transmitting real-time video to a command post or tactical teams from a remote location via a cellular data-based video transmission system. The Degero system consists of 3 pieces of hardware: a transmitter, a receiver server, and a video management server. The Degero first collects live video from an HDMI source, like a camera, and transmits that live video via a cellular signal to the receiver. The receiver collects the live video and is directly connected to the video management server. The video management server creates a secured video access point that can be accessed via the internet, but only by authorized users. Currently, the Degero DTS is solely being used by the SDPD UAS unit, and the only videos that are being transmitted are authorized SDPD UAS operations and training. The Degero DTS does not contain any cameras or microphones, nor does it directly collect any data in and of itself. The Degero DTS does have the ability to save and retain data that it is transmitting. However, this feature is not normally used. If any data is saved within the Degero DTS hardware as digital media evidence, it will be controlled, impounded, and documented in accordance with SDPD Department Procedure 3.02. Use of the Degero DTS is strictly controlled. Only authorized members of the UAS unit shall use this equipment, and they all must undergo specialized training to include proper evidence collection procedures, documentation of evidence, and protection of citizens' privacy, civil rights, and upholding the Fourth Amendment. Additionally, all use of the Degero DTS is supervised by a specially trained UAS supervisor who oversees and audits all data collection and documentation of its use.
This concludes our video presentation for the evening. At this point, we will go through the various council districts and request any questions or feedback. We'll start in order of the council districts, beginning with Council District 1. I'll provide a few moments in case anybody in Council District 1 wants to answer question or make comment.
D1 has 2 speakers.
For the youth and by SDPD and San Diego Fire and Rescue. These are all technologies that provide advanced safety to each and every citizen of our city. What I am not in favor of is the requirement that these presentations be held in 9 locations throughout the city. Staffing so many locations with SDPD and San Diego Fire and Rescue personnel takes these critical first responders away from their far more important jobs of keeping the city's citizens of San Diego safe. Our police and fire departments are already understaffed. This is a blatant misuse of our resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Next speaker.
That concludes District 1 for comments.
Thank you, District 1. I'll now open it up for Council District number 2.
D2 has no speakers.
Thank you. I'll now open it up to Council District number 3.
District 3 has no speakers.
Thank you. We are currently in Council District number 4. Just pause for a moment for anybody to come forward. Seeing nobody, I will now move to Council District 5.
District 5 has no speakers.
Next, Council District 6.
Council District 6 has no speakers.
Council District 7.
District 7 has no speakers.
Council District 8.
District 8 has one speaker. Stand by for the link. District 8, go ahead.
Okay, starting. Greetings, my name is Omar Araisa, and I just want to thank you for the presentations to everybody who presented today. I think it's very important that San Diego advances in technology, but is also aware of, some of the issues that come from having so many technologies. The questions that I have really are in 3 phases. One, it has to do with lobbying from technology companies to government agencies. The second is data analytics. And the third is what's going to happen next with all this technology. Just a brief over, sometimes have concerns over technology companies going to conferences and highly lobbying fire chiefs, police chiefs, and many other officials during those conferences. And how does the city, protect itself, through accountability on that? The secondly, data analytics. I worked in data analytics before, and one of the things that I do see is sometimes data analytics has missing information. How do we account for that through the data information that we're gathering, so that way we can make proper information when the citizens don't report, crimes and that don't add up to the statistics.
And thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. That is all.
I'm sorry, was a third part to that question? I did catch 2 parts of the question. First one had to do with lobbying, and the second part had to do with data analytics. Was there a third part?
The speaker was out of time.
So I guess we'll start with the last question in mind as to what's next. This process calls for us to hear from the community this evening. Each one of the technologies presented has a use report accompanying it with many details that are required to answer under the use report within the ordinance. After we have these meetings, we take the community impact reports along with any community feedback and comments such as yours, sir. Include those, make notification to the Privacy Advisory Board, and forward those reports forward for consideration, where our Privacy Advisory Board will assess the various technologies presented, have discussions, and if the past is an indicator of the future, they typically will roundtable, form subcommittees, speak to the various technologies, and then make recommendations for City Council to consider. That is what's next, and that is the process as it exists now under the Privacy Ordinance, or the Trust, Transparent and Responsible Use of Surveillance Technologies Ordinance. In terms of lobbying, this question has come up, and it's one that I have frequently heard, one that I am familiar with. Recently, City of San Diego just hosted the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference. The convention center was full of people demonstrating how their technology may solve problems associated for the various police departments that were in attendance, law enforcement personnel, security, and there were many discussions to be had. But there's a couple different processes now in place, and I'll talk about the process that existed really before the Privacy Board and then one that really took place after. Each technology goes forward is evaluated by commanding officers like myself, personnel, to see what need it fits or what mission it serves within the police department, fire department, or whichever department looks towards that technology to solve a problem. As that problem or that solution is suggested, there's really a robust process. It begins with discussions throughout the various units, but it continues on. We look towards guidance, and we have a technology process. Many people don't realize that we have significant in-house experts, but we also have we call a STAC committee, a Strategic Technology Alliance Committee, that looks at how technologies fit into the overarching goals of the city. Is there alignment with them? Are they maybe repetitive in nature? How we can increase efficiencies and effectiveness. Then obviously we move on and we looked at funding sources, whether we have to go through purchasing and, going through purchasing and contracting, having their say. Do we go out for requests for proposals? In addition to that, what kind of contracting processes need to take place? There's an assessment by risk management. All of this is overseen through the city attorney's office, that we're constantly, as a commanding officer, looking to our city attorney's office to guide us through the purchasing and contracting process to make sure that the technology being sought fits a mission that serves the department and potentially the city as a whole. Ultimately, that process goes through to our city council members, typically through a public safety committee for public safety or a responsible committee, and up to our city council for a vote, depending on the dollar amount. Overarching, or now an overlapping part of that process, is our new surveillance ordinance, which kind of lays over top of that. There's been questions and concerns of whether that process has been properly integrated with our existing purchasing process. But that process now is, as we are seeking funds or seeking proposals, we also have to notify the Privacy Advisory Board, do community outreach, and then go before the Privacy Advisory Board with the technology that's being sought. And then that is also a part of the process as it moves forward to committee and council vote. So that is the process as it exists now. But I also think it also speaks, to lobbying and lobbying efforts. People can lobby, but at the end of the day, commanding officers like myself aren't making decisions about the lobbying efforts of any one group. I still have to be able to defend the position, defend the solution, see how it fits in. And at the end of the day, there's decisions are based about dollar amounts at thresholds that are typically beyond what we have within the police department. They typically go up to our city council, our chief operating officer, and mayor for discussion. So I hope I've answered the questions. Did I miss anything? Data analytics, I'm sorry, I didn't address data analytics. We try to assess data. I think, data is very important. I think data, and you look at data and evidence-based decision-making as really a push that's being made in law enforcement, that, evidence management, data-informed decisions. Really, there's an emphasis on that now, particularly in law enforcement, and I'm sure there is within the fire department and other departments, about how data informs decisions. This is not an area just lost on us. This is an area that our Office of the City Auditor has looked at and asked us to reach out and look at systems and use data points to make more informed decisions. We recently had an audit on this within the last couple of years with recommendations. So I think, much to your point, there's been recommendations, and I would refer you out to the Officer of the City's Auditor's report that looked at and stressed the need of departments throughout the city, particularly the San Diego Police Department, and how we can make better use of data collected, data management to make more informed decisions. Obviously, I think many times we are rich in data, but don't always do a great job in wrangling it and assembling it in a manner that allows us to make informed decisions. It's an area that we are consistently striving for within the police department, and an emphasis that we continue to place on our commanding officers, particularly as you look at such functions as, a ComStat, or prioritizing, staffing, or prioritizing different types of calls and where crimes takes place is just one example. But again, it's a question that comes up frequently. I'm glad you asked it. And it's one that the city has asked as well through the auditor's process. And they have recently recommendations that we are trying to implement within the department to make better use of the data that we have, gather complete data to make the best decisions possible. Okay, I believe that was D8. Is there any additional questions from D8?
Negative. D8 has no further questions.
Okay, then I'll move on to D9.
D9 has no speakers. However, we have D1 with an email we are gathering real quickly.
Then we'll move past D9, and in the interest of being thorough, we'll hold on and pause for an email from District 1.
The question from D1 is the license plate reader data looking for specific cases and or all plates looked at to see if they fit a specific case?
So the best way to answer that question is license plates can look at a specific case. For instance, if we had information that a homicide was looking for a specific license plate associated with either a homicide or robbery, detectives could upload that information into the license plate reader operating system, and then alert the San Diego Police Department on that particular license plate. Should a license plate reader identify it and notify our communication so we can dispatch officers to investigate. Typically, though, license plate readers are run against certain databases, particularly, say, NCIC, the National Crime Index, looking for stolen vehicles, or potentially missing persons, another database. So there's various databases that we're looking for, the stolen vehicle system database, for example, but there are databases that we're running against looking for cars that have been reported stolen or missing persons, or those associated with a crime, particularly those type of databases are standard. And then obviously, if a hit or a match comes up, it's sent out to the officer to investigate. And then we expect our officers per policy to independently verify that the license plate reader has identified the license plate correctly before we initiate action.
That is the end of the speakers and the end of the questions from the satellite locations.
Well, without any further questions or statements from the audience, I'd like to thank you yet again for making this evening and allowing us to make this evening worthwhile and allowing us to share the videos. Hopefully they were informative. I would ask if there's additional questions or comments or somebody wants to watch this again, we will be posting this video on our website, and it'll allow those who maybe weren't in attendance this evening an opportunity to view it at their leisure. And once again, it can be translated into multiple languages. With that, I bid good night, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.